Now more than ever, large corporations know nearly exactly what we want. Not when we want it, but just what we want based on what we search and what we look at and the information that we put out through social media and Google searches. After watching after watching several TED Talks and going through an online training to help understand how to run Facebook ads, I came to the realization of how much social media companies track and use our data for their own benefit to make a large profit, and arguably ours as well. Knowing, like, oh, if I go search for AirPods, I'm gonna go onto Instagram the next day and I'll see ads for deals of AirPods or knockoff brands that are just as good. Um, Social media platforms can have a large impact on our lives if we allow them to, if we get addicted to them and have to spend so much time and effort onto these platforms. Whenever we have a question that needs to be answered, all we have to do is just search it on Google. The answer's right there. Someone has put it out on the web for everyone else to see. Ads pop up everywhere, from billboards along the freeway down I-15, or to headers or pop-ups on our phone. It was pictures on Instagram as you're scrolling. Everything's an ad. Social media and marketing surrounds all of us and will likely become an addiction for most of us, especially people my age who have grown up with it. I think I got Instagram when I was 12, whatever 8th grade is, 12 or 13. So I've had it for 8 years now. Yippee. After today, I hope you'll have a better understanding of how much an impact we let these large corporations and social media have on us, whether it be negative, which probably is more likely, or if somehow it impacts you in a positive way. That'd be cool. To do this, I'm going to share what research and information I've found and the footprint that large corporations have on our emotions and the marketing schemes that they use. In this technological age, and being so device, smartphone, tablet, computer dependent in my life, I notice I get distracted a lot easier. Instead of doing homework for a class, I find myself constantly checking social media or getting a notification from a game or getting a notification from Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and I immediately have to go check it. I don't know why. That's just how it is, and I'm sure it's the same for everyone else. I'm almost positive we've all been caught or have caught ourselves doing this, and that's exactly what the social media corporations want. Products sold by large companies, excuse me, products sold by large corporations and posts on social media can and will most likely become major influences in our lives, whether we like it or not. And how they do that, there's really just one technique that they use that really influences our lives, and it's emotional marketing. I call it targeting because that's really what it is. They just target our emotional response. Emotional connections, as said by Patel, emotional connections are the key to successful marketing strategies. So anything you say or do or is done to you or said to you will impact you, that impacts you in a emotional way, will leave a lasting impact rather than just looking at your phone and reading the news story about the election. In Scott Galloway's TED Talk titled How Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google Manipulate Our Emotions, his TED Talk mentions 4 areas that those companies target. Personally, I think you could now add TikTok in there. The TikTok platform has already been confirmed of selling our information, if you use it, to other companies for profit, another way for them to make money. Amazon has not a slogan, it's kind of like a blacklist slogan, like you don't want to hear it. The consumption gut, no penalty for more. basically means that the penalty for having less, like less of their product, whatever they sell, so to say, is a greater penalty than having more. So they want you to buy more and have more rather than having less. And now we'll talk about how the emotional research on content, and it's me saying it, referring to the responses that we give to it. In 2012, 8 years ago, Facebook did a study that filtered the kind of content that was present in a user's feed. At the time, it was probably illegal, but now it's like, okay, who cares? Seeing a certain type of emotion in a positive way encourages it rather than suppresses it. So if you see an ad for a dog and it's playing with a toy and it's like, oh yeah, paw prints, whatever, I don't know what a name for a dog toy, you'll want to share it to your friends because, oh, the dog's doing something cute, it's doing something funny. It creates a positive emotion inside of you where you will share it, rather than the negative will almost never draw users back. An article of Buffer Social, which discusses thoughts on social media and online marketing, states that people feel first and think second. So by the time, okay, let me read the second part of the quote. The emotional brain processes sensory information in 1/5 the time our cognitive brain takes to assimilate the same input. So basically what it's saying is, if you look at a picture of anything, you will already have responded to it and reacted to it before you've even started to read or interpret what the words are saying, if there's a picture correlated to it. It's also good to point out that happiness makes us want us to share more, sadness connects with us more and is better to empathize better. Fear and surprise makes us desperate for something to cling to, so if it's a cliffhanger, you'll want to come back for part 2. And anger and disgust makes us more stubborn, so if something's disgusting to us or makes us angry, we won't go back to it. It's just another negative emotion. And finally, storytelling and emotional branding. Storytelling stats to start. On average, there are 100,500 words are consumed daily. And I mean consumed as in it includes talking, reading, and listening. Those are the 3 main that I could think of, 3 main ways where we consume words and thoughts and just words. 92% of consumers ads 92% of consumers will want ads that tell a story. So rather than, oh, here's a picture of a dog, instead, let's go through the dog's life story and how they got to where they are now. Like, it'll create a better emotional response about the dog. And that the brain will process images faster, 60 times faster than words. To reinforce this last point, that the brain can process images 60 times faster than words, Apple is very, very good at emotional branding. They use just that simple strategy, clean design of a phone with an already established name that will serve as a status symbol for their product. The branding strategy will target a very basic human need, which is the need to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. When the iPhone X was first released, the majority of the commercials that were aired were images of the phone from different views of the new features, such as the Face ID, or people having the phone in front of their face and unlocking it with their face, rather than using words to describe what the new features are. One of the best ways to not allow these social media giants to track and use our data is just deleting the social media app off our phone. They can't do anything if you don't use it. An even better way would probably be deleting our old accounts, because if it's still If you still have the account, but nothing's going on, like there's still gonna be interactions. Like you could get the bots that go and DM you or like a post or comment just random stuff, people that stalk you. So deleting the account from the server is probably the best thing. Sometimes it's hard to realize how much of an impact these large corporations have on our lives. I gave a few examples of the emotions targeted by large corporations in order to draw us to our product and what they mean. And hopefully being more aware of these emotions and the impact that they have and the impact of them, referring to the social media platforms, have on our lives. And if the impact is greater than what we seek, then we can take the necessary steps that I just mentioned to regain control over our lives.